Okay, good day everyone. I'm Aprhodite Macale, and today I will share with you the findings of my study on flipped classroom environment. So our classroom is more than a place for learning. Classroom dynamics include student behavior, interaction, and of course, teachers' way of presenting academic materials and student interactions. And with the changes happening in our education system, in our education landscape, the implementation of different strategies as our response to the pandemic and to continue education, it's worthy to ask what happens to our classroom environment. So I quoted here Ambrose 2010. He mentioned that there is really a complex dynamics inside the classroom. It includes the tone, the interpersonal forces at play, and all the communication patterns affect the performance of the students and also their motivation. So that is just to point out that it is indeed important to examine the classroom environment of the resulting classroom environment whenever we implement different teaching strategies. We have tried different learning modalities, and I think flipped classroom is one option. And this is an example of a blended learning modality. And I think flipped classroom is readily available to us because it can be economical. You don't have to spend much in implementing flipped classroom because you can use different reading materials and course packs or modules. And in the flipped classroom, you provide the materials to the students before they come to class. And then when they go to class, for example, it's a face-to-face class or it could be a synchronous class, they can have assimilating activities and leveling through active learning activities. So in this research, we would like to add light to the classroom environment in a flipped setup and answer the questions. Is there a significant difference in the classroom environment of the conventional and flipped classroom setups? And what insights can be drawn from the classroom environment that results from the implementation of peer instruction combined with flipped classroom to improve chemistry instruction? For the methodology, I used a two-group quasi-experimental research design involving grade 7 junior high school students. So the flipped classroom here, the blended modality is asynchronous studying of materials and then face-to-face instruction for the peer instruction activity. For the interventions, the peer instruction was implemented using Plicker's app. And then the flipped classroom, the materials were introduced to the students using science videos and UST science courseware. For the data collection, the classroom observation includes emotional support, classroom organization, and instructional support. So I used a validated classroom observation tool, and this one is developed and validated at the University of Virginia. And I included a fourth-year BS Mathematics and Science teaching student to observe the classes. And for each domain, the scoring system is 1 to 2 low, and then 3 to 5 middle range, and then 6 to 7 high range. For the classroom dimensions, we look into the emotional support that covers classroom climate, teacher sensitivity, regard for students, and then classroom organization that includes behavior management, productivity, and instructional learning formats, and instructional support, concept development, quality of feedback, and language modeling. Okay, so those are the classroom interaction domains. So let's see what happens after the implementation. So we have the tabulated scores. These are the average of the different dimensions. And on the first three columns, the first column, it has the dimensions of the classroom environment. And then the second and third, that is for the peer instruction setup or the conventional classroom. And then fourth and fifth, we have the flipped classroom. So I highlighted here the scores which are higher. So for relationship, so we can see here that, or for positive climate in general, we can see here that flipped classroom scored better or higher in terms of positive climate compared to the conventional classroom. And then for teacher sensitivity, awareness and responsiveness, the flipped classroom scores higher than the peer instruction setup or the conventional classroom. And for student comfort, the conventional classroom scored higher. And for addresses problems dimension, they have the same score. For regards for student perspective, so at the end of the implementation, the flipped classroom scored better than the conventional classroom. For behavior management also, and for the productivity. So for each dimension, we have the description of the classroom environment. And then for quality of feedback, the flipped classroom scored better in 4 dimensions, that is scaffolding, feedback loops, providing information and encouragement and affirmation. And for prompting throughout processes, the conventional classroom scored better than the flipped classroom setup. For language modeling, the flipped classroom setup scored better or higher compared to the conventional classroom. And applying statistical analysis, we have found that, daanan ko na lang po, no? And po, so yellow meaning, the highlighted part meaning the flipped classroom again scored better than the peer instruction or the conventional classroom. For concept development also. Okay, now, at the end of the implementation and after statistical analysis, we found that the flipped classroom setup scored better than the conventional classroom. There's a significant difference in the two classroom setup. And the type of classroom environment in a flipped classroom promotes a positive classroom environment. So this is an indication that if a flipped classroom will be implemented in the correct way or with correct match of pre-class and in-class activity, we will expect that a positive classroom environment will be developed. Thank you po.